And boy, is there a debate between the left and the center of the Democratic Party. Another reason, perhaps, according to a Reuters poll, President Biden only has the support of 36% of Americans who didn't go to college. Mike Gunz, host of The Gunz Show, radio host, podcaster, with us now. Mike, I can't figure out from a big political perspective who is in favor of this other than millennials with college debt and those on the far left. I really can't.
Right. So when you bring up millennials, you're essentially talking about myself and all my friends.
Well, technically, I am still in there as well.
There you go.
By a month or two.
By a smidge.
Well, here's the thing. Bill Maher was trending all day today because of these comments that he made. And listen, Bill Maher's been actually pretty good in recent months. Years ago, I thought he was kind of a hack and I wasn't really a big fan of him, but I think he's been better. But I think he is wrong here. Just from being a millennial and Gen Zer, I feel like Democrats have to play this card because they really don't have too much else to really bring in, especially the youth vote. When you're talking about like upcoming issues, nobody cares about COVID. Like COVID's done. Nobody cares. You can't really bring up the environment anymore because gas and oil prices are so high. So people, once it affects their bottom line and their wallets, they suddenly don't care about the environment as much. And then you can't run on the economy because the economy's just a mess. So what are the Democrats going to do? And the upcoming election, or at least the presidential election, is you have to play to that youth vote. You're going to do that by social issues, which of course is abortion in the Supreme Court. And then
Mike, I get where you're coming from here, but historically, though, voters do not reward those that gave them free stuff. Historically, voters vote people in who promise free stuff. And you talk about motivating the youth vote. I'm trying to think about this November. Think about personal debt averages. Mortgages, $229,000, no relief. Car loans, $20,000, no relief. Credit cards, $5,225 on average, no relief. How all of a sudden does a Democrat in a moderate district look at working class people who have mortgages, car loans, and credit cards and say, oh, you don't get any relief. President Biden wiped out college debt that you don't have. And you got a bunch of Republicans who are saying inflation's on fire and going to get worse because of student debt relief. Gas prices are at record high, and all President Biden can do is give away. I don't get how this works for them.
I didn't say it was logical. I think that they're still going to do it, though. I'm not in favor of it because
I'm just talking
ultimately somebody has to pay for it. And it sounds good and it's enticing, but ultimately somebody has to pay for it. And I don't think people that realize that, oh, even if I get the debt erased or whatnot, guess what? You're ultimately going to have to pay for that down the line. So is it unfair? For sure. I think the Democrats are in a not a great situation right now because clearly they need to do something here because they're losing all across the board right now, and there is a student loan problem. Student loans and credit card debt are a disaster right now, but I personally believe the whole entire college education system probably has to be reformed. It's not going to happen anytime soon. But do you go and completely go from 0 to 100 and just wipe out all of it? No, that's not feasible. But I feel like I truly believe that the Democrats will do this. I think if Biden does something, say like 2 weeks or 1 week out before the midterm elections, that would have an effect. I really believe that it would.
But where do you draw the line? I mean, if you're willing to cancel some debt, I mean, is your debt more burdensome than my debt? And, what about the people who took out loans and then paid off their
them off?
debt?
Listen, I worked 3 jobs to pay off my Fordham University debt here. You know what I mean? Like, it's not fair. It's definitely not fair. And I think that that's what Democrats have to try and find a balance because, the older generation's like, listen, some people went into the military to pay off. Some people, had to spend years upon years. I don't really feel that it's just the loan issue, but it's the interest rates on top of it. Like I said, the whole thing probably needs to be reformed. It's not going to happen anytime soon because nothing ever gets done really in Washington for something that really needs to happen. But it is unfair. I had to work multiple jobs to pay off my debt. Now somebody that an entitled millennial Gen Z brat is going to now all of a sudden just get it wiped all away. But then what happens if I have other debt or after mortgages and stuff like that? So, and one thing that you're also going to see, especially with the younger generation, and as you keep going farther left, is they're never satisfied. you give them something and they always want more across the board.
Now they want a job that pays, you know, 200 grand right out of college, living in a great city.
And they want to work remotely and hybrid. They're never happy with whatever you give them. So it's not a good situation, but I feel that they have to, because what else are they going to run on? Joe Biden's got nothing. These people have nothing right now.
You know what you call Mike is an honest millennial.
Yeah, that's right. The fair factor. Well, I mean, at least you're not passionate about it or anything. All right, Mike, thank you. Good to see you.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.